What's up? Yeah, little, little catchy jingle. I'm Chase Wade. We did not, cause my baby just had RSV, so he's good now, but me, my wife, and him were all sick, and so if I cough and stuff, I'm still getting over it. So just be mindful. Yep. My brother-in-law is in the military currently, and my grandfather on my mom's side also served. So kind of got a lineage of service members. No, it's Derek. It's Derek. Hmm. No, I mean, he supports. Yeah, he works all base. So. Mhm. Mhm. No, it's not. Definitely not. I mean, it's a lot of I never reached out to my parents for dating advice. That's for sure. Like, y- like, yeah, I never, dating advice. You're always like, oh, let me go to a friend, or which is kind of stupid if you think about it, because like they have the same kind of experience as you do. Like, so, I mean, it's kind of like you're gonna get nowhere, but it feels like the right thing to do, you know? Oh, like, specifically dating is just because, like, what was I supposed to do? Hey, Dad, like, what am I supposed to say to this girl? Like, how do I get her to kiss me? Like stuff like that. Like, that's just, it's just that's not, yeah. I don't know. No, yeah, it's just like I don't know. There's probably like this narrative painted where it's like, have you ever heard the expression of like, oh, obviously you're going through it right now, but um, you're too cool for your parents, you know? Because I know you're experiencing that kind of. So, like, you get too cool for your parents. It's like, you go through this phase where you're like, oh, I don't need them, like but hmm you just want to kind of like figure things out, and go to peers and like, I don't know. It's just something that everybody does. I just don't think we don't think like that. Like, Americans, bro. I would like just like advice with like, you know, um, hey, I talk to my mom and dad about like, you know, can you help me out with maybe this interview that I have? Like, what kind of questions do you think they would ask me? Can you like pre-interview me and just getting like jobs or like, hey, can you help me with like what I want to be when I grow up or you know, things like that. But like dating, no, never. They're
Chase's family would have survived if they had another boy. Just hearing the stories I hear about the girls.
95% of the time they're really great.
Yeah,
We all like coax. I have a really big family, like,
yeah,
but it's like we're all super tight. All of us are just like, but being that tight, there's going to be points where you're going to argue and you're going to get into fights.
yeah.
So I mean, we've had some real big blowouts as well,
Man,
and it's like, but at the end of the day, we all love each other and we all get through it.
yeah.
But
I think amongst me and because I guess my cousins were so close, we pretty much were like brothers. But I think between me and my cousins growing up, I think we might have had one. I can only remember one fight we had, and that was it. Outside of that, it was just playing games and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember any other fights I ever had, and it wasn't even like a fight. It was like a wrestling match, and then that was it. Like it wasn't, you know. Like, what's the worst fight you guys ever got in? Or you don't have to
Uh,
use any names. Or I guess if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to.
there's so many. Like I can't even specifically name one. Like
Yeah,
there was a
man.
bunch, dude. But I mean, that's just what it is. It's just family, though. It's
Oh man.
like
So
you're gonna fight.
I did have my speaking of like I've heard speaking of fights, my mom has shared some crazy stories with me. So it was her and two other sisters that were closer to her in age. So all three of them went to school together. And back in the islands, and I remember this one story, legendary amongst my family. But her and her sisters were all hanging out. And I guess there was this guy who was messed like my mom and her sisters used to fight not just other girls, but they would fight guys and
Oh,
like beat the crap out of them. I mean, it was wild. I remember there was one story she told us where me and my brothers and sister, um, and they were riding the bus home, I think, and this one guy with dreads was, I guess, was like, trying to hit on one of them or something like that, and like just touched him inappropriately, and they didn't say nothing to him, right? They kind of let it brush it off because they were going to get him back later. So they get off the bus, and the guy sticks his head out the window to say something to them one last time, and they grab him by the dreads as he's hanging out the bus and beat the crap out of him.
oh my
Ripped out
god,
like, the bus had to drive off. They had a handful of dreads in their hands. It was
that's
unreal,
crazy.
dude. Yeah, dude. I've seen some crazy fights in my life personally. I remember one time, so during my hiatus from South Carolina when I was in Texas with my dad, um, I was in. I had to take some summer school classes. I was trying to get ahead, just to make sure where I was. For those who don't know, South Carolina's uh, South Carolina State, their education is a little lacking sometimes, and so I had to take some classes to make up to match what I was in Texas to get back into honors classes. And I was in a summer class, and there's these two Hispanic girls, and this one, I guess they were talking trash. I don't know what happened. All I know is they get up and they're like going at it, and they make their way over to the desk, and like this girl's punching this one girl, and then she like knocks her on the ground, grabs her by the hair, and takes her head over to the teacher's desk, grabs a stapler and just staples her a bunch of her hair to the table, and so like the girl is like hanging like with her hair on the table, and this girl just started whap whap whap, just beating. I was like, they're different down here, man.
That's crazy, bro.
It's it's crazy. It's wild. That's man. I can't imagine ever being in that situation. Having to do all that nonsense, man. So that's as wild as it gets for me. Yeah, but my family's never been. I've been in like a few fights growing up, but nothing crazy. I think I've only been hit like maybe twice, maybe once. I got hit in the face. It's like all like minuscule stuff. It was never like nothing crazy. I didn't grow up like a fighter or anything like that by any means.
Well,
So
my
I'll say
family,
I was more like altercations than anything
yeah.
else.
Well, my family, like we don't fist fight or anything.
Yeah,
It's just altercations.
yeah. That's probably much closer to what it is. Yeah.
But
But even like arguments wise, like I get like the biggest arguments I get in is probably with my mom, and it's only because like we get emotional when we're discussing topics, even though
hmm
we might be wrong. I mean, it's one person might be spitting facts, and one might be misinformed. But it's always like our whole family will get into that kind of stuff.
yeah.
It's like a couple arguments, but that's only in our adult life since we've
Uh,
all become adults. So
well,
we didn't argue much when we were younger.
how
So
do you handle a family member that you don't get along with?
um, I don't even know if that's like a thing for us. Like we usually talk it out, you know, like like even like we have no problem in our family like telling someone that hey we don't like this thing about you like if you're doing something different or whatnot and I'm like hey we don't like this thing about you like I just recently my sister and I recently had an issue like that where she was upset with something that I was saying and then but she reached out to me like this is in our family chat but she reached out to me personally and was like hey, are you upset with me over this? And I was like, nah, I cooled down over it. It was upsetting at the time, but I'm not gonna hold it against you. You're totally entitled to feel the way you do.
Yeah.
And then like we're gonna discuss it more at Thanksgiving, because she lives farther away. So that Thanksgiving we're gonna have time to talk about it more. And it's more just it's I think what happens with our family is usually when there's like a clash of any ideas it's always because one person doesn't do a good enough job of explaining why they think the way they think, and the other person might have like misinterpreted. That's usually what happens with us. So we'll next time we all, and it's hard to do it over text. For any of you guys who have family chats over text, sometimes things come across over text that's not
Mm-hmm.
as clear as you want it to be. And so usually whenever we get together, that's when we have the time to kind of talk it out more, and then we can discuss it more, and then things. I mean, we've already smoothed things over, but it's just a matter of like getting together and just being like, well, hey, this is why I believe this, or this is why I think this, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's usually what we do in our family.
Yeah, we try to do that as well. Like, but most of the time it works. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand. There's
but
sometimes there might be people who are like not. They might have like a hard line or something, and they'll be like, oh,
mm-hmm.
I'm not budging, you know, things like that. You know, I will say that I grew up. This maybe this is the reason why me and my mom were so close, because my mom, the way she raised me, was that it made me appreciate being objective and not subjective, like trying to understand why other people think the way they do, and how people arrive at their thoughts. Because it's, you know, I even growing up, I remember specifically because of her raising me that way. I remember in middle school when we had our research triangle papers that we had to do. For those of you who remember that, shout out, showing my age a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I picked Joseph Stalin for that exact reason, because I knew he was a dictator. I knew he caused a lot of issues. He got millions of people killed off. For those of you who don't know, you need to go check your history, read up on some Joseph Stalin stuff. But I wanted
USSR.
to understand why he was the way he did, like how he got to power and that kind of stuff. Of course, I probably need, well, not that I have to. I need to go back and reread it now that I'm older. I can understand some of the concept a little bit better. Um, but I remember doing a research project specifically on him because of that. I wanted to understand why this tyrant of a guy even got to where he was. You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately it boils down to he had a hard time trusting people, and then that just some people once they end up in that position, you know, and they're in a position of power, it fuels some dark. It, I mean, they get into a dark place, and it really drives them to do stupid things after that. And you know, I mean, not to mention the guy was just an evil man, clearly. Uh, but on top of that, he has some trust issues. That's for sure. So, but yeah, that's usually how we smooth things over for my family in general. So, shout out to my mom for helping me be objective and learning. Or the main point I was getting at is that understanding that sometimes I could be wrong. Right? There might be some things I'll say, and I generally try to make sure I have all the information. But then there's sometimes I just might be missing information. You know, and I've conceded that point several times. You know, that's why I love talking to my mom, because she'll talk with me, and she'll help me see something, and she'll be like, well, hey Travis, this is your blind spot in this argument, you know, or hey, did you know this, or
Mm-hmm.
did you ever consider this, you know, and she does a really good job of getting through
Oh
to me
yeah.
to discuss those
'Cause
kind of things.
sometimes you go in so passionately about a
Mhm.
conversation, and you go in with like tunnel vision, and so
Yes.
like you just see your narrative of it, and
Yeah.
you don't see anything else, and then
Yeah.
yeah, you get hit with that like
That
left
left hook.
blow that
Yeah.
just that just
It just floors you.
yeah, and you're just like, dang,
Yeah.
I get it, like yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
but
Yep. I remember recently we were having a discussion. We were talking about gentrification. And I remember we got in a discussion, and you know, I jumped in and I was talking about it, and I was like, well, you know, gentrification is a natural process, right? To an extent. Um, and because simply put, people are going to move where if there's an area that's cheaper to live, people are going to move to that area. And then, you know, when they move to that area, other people are going to notice that, hey, these people moving in pay more, so I'm going to cater to them. You know, usually what the natural process of gentrification happens. Um, and we were talking past each other because the conversation they were trying to have was the purposeful gentrification, where people go in specifically to oust poor people out of an area.
mm,
And I completely wasn't even thinking about that. You know, I mean, I know it happens, but in that conversation we were having at the time, wasn't thinking about that at all.
oh yeah, it
And
happens
so,
all the time. Like it,
yeah, yeah,
um, I hate to say it, but like Section 8, Section 8 housing.
Oh yeah,
They're trying to, if it's like an old historic area, they try to push that out and bring new in, and it's just like it happens everywhere.
yeah. And it's crazy because I'd never. It's one of those things because I'd never experienced it, or
Mm-hmm.
I never saw like Section 8 house or anything like that. I'd never seen like the ghetto or anything like that. My family, my mom always took care of us to make sure that we did not go without. Uh, and she put in work when she was younger. I mean, put in
Mm-hmm.
work to make sure that we. I mean, everybody says that about their parents, right? Our parents always, hopefully, I have a good mom. Chase's parents are wonderful as well, and I'm sure his parents did the same thing. But when you have parents that love you the way they're supposed to love you, they do everything they can to make sure you don't get to see certain things or certain aspects of life. Um, and that was one of the things I never got to see. I never had to see um, like anything Section 8 or anything like that. I always grew up in nicer areas, and I won't say nice, saying like not middle class, but even with apartments, like my mom always made sure that we were in an area that helped us as children be able to learn and uh, like
Right.
get
Yeah.
out of and grow.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Well, I know that because obviously I am in the construction world, so like we build these residential houses for all these big Fortune 500 companies, and
Hmm.
they always buy this piece of land that's close to you know that kind of housing, and when you put that big subdivision there, it just cost of living in that area goes completely up, so it just
Yeah,
pushes all that out. I mean, it's kind of sad at once, like in one
yeah,
hand, but it's like you gotta understand on the other, like it's business sometimes,
yeah.
but I don't know.
Like, it's like sometimes the goal isn't necessarily to push them out, but this land was cheap. This land is available to develop.
Yeah.
We want to make money. And then the nature of that raises the price of everything that's in the area. You know, but too, there's like I feel like there's like ebb and flow too because there's an area that used to be expensive that's now like if you look at downtown areas of most inner cities, that used to be a lot of some of these historic downtown places used to be like that was a expensive place at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rock Hill's got some lovely. Our downtown area is a lovely area, but it's a poorer area now, right? But at one point in the life of the city of Rock Hill, if you look at these houses and the way these houses were designed and the way they look, you could have just use your imagination and imagine it when it was in its prime.
Yeah.
Those areas was probably, I don't know what the equivalent would be, but that would have been like the richer, the more expensive housing at the time.
Oh yeah.
Just based on the way that some of these houses were designed, I see them sometimes and I'm just like, man, that's an extravagant piece of architecture. It's crappy and dilapidated now, but at the time that it was built there,
Mm-hmm.
it was probably really expensive. And then
The only
people being poor, and then
the only downtown place that I've seen that's still preserved, like, is St. Mary's, man. Like that's the only
yeah,
like preserved downtown that I've seen
yeah,
that still holds value
yeah.
that they used to.
That and probably Charleston. I'd say Charleston's probably
Yeah,
like that as well.
Charleston. Yeah. I mean
Um,
that's a big city though. So
but that's a big, yeah, it's a big city.
yeah. They.
You ever been to St. Augustine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's pretty. Granted, they turned it a lot of into like touristy stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Charleston's
That's
a
the
big
bad thing about
tourist,
like, yeah,
and
about
St.
some of these places.
Augustine's a tourist place.
Yeah,
So they take all these tourist places, and
yeah,
obviously they're gonna make them. They're gonna refurbish everything there.
yeah, yeah. You ever I can't remember what the college is at downtown. It's St. Augustine. Uh, but man, that thing is beautiful. Dude. I could not get over how pretty that college was. The way the old clay, like the roof, the clay tiles, like
Yeah,
what I'm talking. You know what I'm talking
shingle tiles.
about. Those are pretty cool. Shingles, yeah. Is it shingles?
I think it the
Is that the term? I don't know anything about this stuff. This is Chase's area field of expertise.
well, I don't ever deal with those.
Yeah,
So I think they're
gotcha.
called. I Oh man.
You know what I'm talking about though. The same. For those of you who are wondering, it's the same ones. If you guys have ever seen Jurassic Park, where the woman is pulling the things on the roof to make the dinosaur fall down in the Lost World Jurassic Park, those things. Hope I did a good description describing that. you know what scene I'm talking about? Where the girl's like hanging on the thing and she's like, ah, she's about to fall, and she just the Velociraptor I think is on the roof. I don't know. I'm terrified of dinosaurs. There, you guys get a little tidbit of information.
Is it the terracotta? That's what they're called, right?
Is that
Terracotta.
what it's called?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
you're teaching me something. That's for sure. All I know is it helped that lady get away from a dinosaur, so it's good. It's good in my book. So
I think terracotta is a color though.
maybe it's named after the place that it came from.
I don't know. It's just clay tile, clay
Yeah.
roof tile.
Well, there you go.
It's like the Spanish style. I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
I
Gotcha.
know what you're talking
Well,
about.
while we're on the subject of Florida, let's go ahead and make this hard transition to a lovely topic. We're not going to talk about Florida's game because we were never supposed to beat Texas, so us getting whooped makes sense.
Nah,
However,
y'all got smoked though.
Chase. I mean, what happened? Did you watch first thing first? Just we don't gloat. We don't rub things other people say. Were you guys surprised? Did you go in? Did you go in thinking like this weekend would be a hard fought weekend, or
Well, I told you last week. I told the audience last week. I said
yeah,
Ole Miss is not going to be easy.
yeah,
Jackson Dart's on a mission. The week before he played Georgia, he threw 515 yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean, the
mhm,
dude is insane,
yeah? He was ready to prove
crazy
something.
dude, and
He's
like
hurt now though, right?
he
He got
just
hurt
beat
early in
us
the game.
hobbled. Like,
Yeah, on one leg.
but I'll be honest with you, man. Like I've been watching a lot of videos and a lot of replays, and I'm not one of the conspiracy theorists, but let's all be honest here. Vegas has taken over sports.
Oh, dude, once money gets involved in anything, it's
You
gonna take
know,
over. There's no
so
question about it.
I've been watching videos, and it's clearly. I watched one video. Clearly, all of our offensive linemen jumped out of the way, and all the defense just ran and bombarded Carson back.
Yeah.
It's like
Is
it was
that?
just blatantly obvious.
Do you think that's a function though of Vegas having input, or is that a function of just terrible block, like linemen just
N-
farting?
not
You know what? Thinking about it now,
not one single lineman blocked.
yeah, thinking about it because we knowing Georgia's offensive line, how good they've been all year, right? For all of a sudden for them to just have just a whiff like that is very uncharacteristic. Like maybe one guy misses one block, but I know the player you're talking about because they have the overhead view,
Let me
and
see
we're
if
talking
I
about, and
can.
it's crazy. It's not even 5-on-4, right? It's not even like 5-on-5 or five like they're overwhelmed. I believe it was 4 down linemen, right?
Mhm.
And the linemen just slipped through. Like no, you would have thought they had done like some kind of crazy move,
Let me see if I
but
can
they
find
all
the
just
video.
shoot their gaps, and it is unreal.
Let me see if I can find this video. Here it
Let's take
is,
a look.
right here. Yeah, I can.
Drop it in. See if you can drop it in the chat.
Just watch this. They
Like
all just
dude,
moved. They all moved.
it's
Look,
wild.
not a
Ugh.
single one of them blocked.
It almost looks as if the goal was to block the linebackers and nobody wanted to block the down lineman. That's what that looks like. That's how bad of a blocking job that was, which is unreal. Usually, I've never seen anything like that.
So, I'm not trying to be a sour sport. We lost the game. I get it. Like
Yeah,
we lost the game. But just after watching those videos, man, like there's several
yeah.
out there
You
like
don't think
that.
it's like an instance where like maybe the linemen are upset with the quarterback or upset with the plays the coach is calling,
I mean,
and
it
they're
could
just like,
be.
you know what,
It could
I'm
be.
gonna do this. You know?
I mean, yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it could be. But I mean,
Yeah,
I just think that NIL just kind of ruined
yeah.
college.
Oh yeah.
And,
I mean, it's going to.
when now you can gamble on college games,
Hmm.
I just think gambling in general just ruins sports.
Yeah.
Cancel me
I
if
mean,
you
it's been there for
want.
years.
Cancel me if you want. But
Yeah.
like, I just don't feel like there's kind of. It's more entertainment now, like we talked about earlier. It's just
Yeah.
there's no integrity in it. But
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be a sour sport, but we lost the game. We got waxed, but offense, defense just didn't play a good game. Couldn't get anything going.
Couldn't get anything
But
stopped. It's a
nope.
hard L to take. I'll tell you that much. It's a hard L to take.
I mean,
Just to
now
never.
we're in like this must-win situation, and it sucks. But
I mean, you guys are. Gosh, I mean, this puts you guys at 3 losses?
Yep. No, 2.
2. What was the other big upset? I feel like there was another big upset this weekend too. This past weekend. Who was the other team that got
Who got beat?
upset?
I don't. LSU lost to Alabama pretty bad.
Wait, was that the game I'm thinking of?
LSU.
42
LSU
to
got.
13. Smack. Let's see here. Colorado's starting to show up, man.
Yeah.
Colorado's starting to show up. Went
But
from a losing school last year. They improved to what 4 wins, and this year they got 7 already.
But man, my dude Ashton went off again. 209 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He's got to be. Do they have the Heisman watch out yet?
He's in the running.
Dude, he's got to be number 1.
Last time I checked,
that what's his name? Now Jackson Dart's hurt.
Last time I checked, Cam Ward was number 1.
Cam Ward. Oh, Miami. That was the other game. Miami losing to Georgia Tech. Thank you. That was the game.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
I mean, granted, he still had a heck of a game. 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cool.
But that game put Ashton up to 1,734 yards and 23 touchdowns.
He's got to be. If he's not, they have to be seriously considering him for the Heisman. I don't know.
Oh, they have to be. I mean, also Cam Ward, man, he's got 3,494 passing yards and 32 touchdowns for 6 interceptions. That's also really good.
Yeah, that's also amazing. That's hard to beat that as well. Like, I'm trying to think of how.
And his QBR is 89.6.
Yeah. Gosh, man. How do you pick between those two guys? Like those two insane stat lines. With 3-4 games left to go?
2.
We still got week 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then bowl week starts.
We still got there's 3 more games in the regular season.
Yeah, there's 3 more games in the regular season. There's 5 more weeks overall because everybody knows like some of the conferences start at awkward times. Things like that. Some teams start at weird.
So there's
another 16 weeks.
Yeah, there's 3 more games in the regular season. Yeah, 3. Yeah. And then it goes to the bowl games. So unfortunately, I think Georgia's shot at the SEC championship is out.
Yeah. There's a risk, I will say, because of that loss, there is a risk they miss the playoffs too. Especially because now you got to think about Army's undefeated, and they're ranked 25. You got to start putting them up now.
Well, if we win out, I think we can still make it.
Late push. Yeah, Colorado's making a late push.
If we win out, I think we can still make it.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be
just lost to Virginia.
I think there's going to be a little bit more upsets than.
You think so?
There's going to be more upsets in the next coming weeks. Texas has to play Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I'll say. It's one of my favorite things about college football is that like there's a level of parity that comes into play that when you expand it out more, because I mean, before it was the BCS, like the BCS bowl, like the parity that came with that, right? Like some of the losses you just could not afford to take, and how you lost had such a huge weight too. Like if you were playing, like if you were a top team and you lost a close game against another top team, it might have affected you like maybe one place, right? But if you lost to just like some Joe Schmo, you probably would drop like 2 or 3 games.
Well, even the CFP
by another good team, if you're like number 3 and you get waxed by number 6, like you probably were going to be outside of the top 10. Like if number 6 shows up to your house and beats you like 52 to 14, you're probably going to be outside the top 10.
Well, it's even it was even like that in the CFP when it was just 4 teams instead of 12. Because I mean, look at last year, man. Last year, Florida State was undefeated.
Yeah, and they ended up 5th.
Yeah, they didn't even go.
Gosh, but the right team won though, because it was a heck of a playoff. I mean, that's the part that's so hard for people to understand. It was just like, part of this is also like getting the entertainment side of it. I wonder if having 12 teams, I mean, there's always going to be, no matter how big you make the playoffs, there's always going to be those guys who are just like, man, well, we could have done it, yada, yada, yada. Our team could have beat, we beat them in the regular season. We could absolutely, which a lot of
there's
schools, a lot of
been
put up a shut up this year.
there's been several years where the CFP committee just completely got it wrong though.
You think so? Which year would you say they got it wrong the most?
Oh, there's several, man.
Yeah.
There's like every time Notre Dame entered the playoffs. Sorry, Notre Dame fans, but every time Notre Dame entered the playoffs, bro, they got waxed.
Notre Dame is one of those
Absolutely
teams.
waxed.
That's why I'm so skeptical about Boise State, because it was the same way for Boise State for years, and I feel bad for them because they've never get like a respectable bowl game for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why, for you Boise fans who are wondering why you guys have never taken seriously, it's because anytime they put you guys up against a serious team, like a team that's like potentially a championship team, it's never panned out for Boise State. It's always been a
Yeah,
disappointment. Like I
Cincinnati
remember
made it.
time.
Cincinnati made it one year. They
Yeah.
got waxed.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. I'll say this year, this playoff season, this college playoff season, there's gonna be a lot of people getting their butts whooped. A
oh
lot of
yeah.
guys. There's gonna be some teams thinking like, oh, well, finally we're in the playoffs. We should have been here, and then they're gonna be like, see, this is why we shouldn't have had. This is why we should have maybe kept the 8 teams instead as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can't go back now, but you're gonna see some people get destroyed that should have been there, just like the
Well,
NCAA
I think they're
basketball.
gonna. I think they're gonna take this year, right,
Mm-hmm.
as like a
Trial.
trial, because then next year they're probably gonna be like, all right, we really need to start looking at strength of schedule,
Yeah.
because I mean you can have these undefeated teams all the way up,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just are
They
they
don't pass it
get
to us.
dog washed,
Yeah.
in the playoffs. Well, I mean, once again, I love football. We're just talking football. But in 2022, man, Georgia stomped TCU. The
Oh yeah.
biggest, the biggest deficit in a national championship ever.
Yep.
Like
Let's look that
TCU
up. Let me
should
see
have
the story.
TCU should have never been there. I think it was like 56-7 or 62-7 or something like that.
65-7.
65-7. Yeah.
Like
Like
TCU never belonged in that championship game.
never. I mean, they did beat Michigan though.
Yeah.
So, but
But
I mean,
I believe they got there because wasn't that the year people wanted Alabama to be in the playoffs?
Alabama lost two games that
Yeah.
season.
But I think people were saying that Alabama's strength of schedule should have had them closer to it.
Oh, I'm sure they say Alabama
Yeah.
deserves to be in it every year, but
That's so
you know.
true. So true.
But I mean, anybody but TCU should have been there. That was insane. But regardless, I don't think anybody would have beat us that season.
No, you guys were having a heck of a year that year. Let me see what the let's see, Georgia. Yeah, Alabama was fifth that year, 2
Mm-hmm.
losses, and Ohio State got in.
We
So it
beat
was
Ohio State.
Georgia. Yeah, Georgia beat Ohio State, TCU beat Michigan, and then Georgia beat the brakes off of TCU. Like they were somebody's redheaded stepchild. Like they beat them like they were. I don't want to say that, but they beat them. Watch my phrasing sometimes. But
But it
they
was, dude, it was.
65-7 is
It's the
is
biggest
a really
deficit
weird game.
it's the biggest deficit in a playoff and national championship, like
Yeah.
completely in the
Like I
postseason.
thought Florida versus Ohio State was bad. All those years ago, we had Tim Tebow. This was that Georgia game versus TCU was very impressive.
Well, it looked like Georgia was playing a high school football team. We just were scoring at will and just could do whatever we wanted.
Yeah, let's move on to some NFL talk. Let's talk about the MVP watch for the NFL right now. All right, and before we go there, let's keep it in college for a little bit. And we spoke a little bit about um uh what's the running back from Boise State
Ashton
and then Jackson
Giante.
Dart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else do you think is still kind of up there for college for the Heisman watch?
But really, I just got it at them three, man. Jackson Dart, Cam Ward, and Ashton Giante. Like
Yeah,
that's all I got. Like
that's
even
all
though
you got.
there's four finalists, but that's
Yeah,
really all I have.
I think right now. So let's ESPN's got. Let's look at what ESPN has. Right. See if I can share.
I mean, obviously, I think Travis Hunter's going to be in there because
Yeah.
I don't know why, but just because he's a dual player, that's why.
Yeah. Can you see that?
Can, yeah.
Yeah. So like we got right. This is ESPN right now. They've got this. They got Cam Ward right now as the number one guy.
Yep.
Travis. They have Travis Hunter at number two. Tell me this is not listed in order. This is just a watch list. Well,
No,
Hunter.
it's Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
wild to
god.
me. That's crazy. Why? What's his stats?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. He's only got 757 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. Fourth most wide receiver. I don't know how that. Then you got
It's
Dylan.
because
Oh, I
he.
forgot about the guy from Oregon.
It's because he plays both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Wait
I
a
mean,
minute.
that is
So
impressive. That
they
is
don't.
impressive.
They don't have
Oh, he's got
Ashton.
5 interceptions. Oh, this is what he needs to win.
They don't. They don't have Ashton Giante like there at all.
They
There
do.
he
They have him at
is.
fourth.
That's insane.
Yeah, man. I don't. Is this an updated list?
No.
Oh, it's from. Yeah, this is from. This is before last weekend. Before this past weekend, yeah. This is the last. Okay, so tomorrow they're gonna have Hopefully tomorrow they'll have an updated list. Because after this past weekend, I don't know how you got to go Cam Ward and Ashton Johnty as 1-2. You have to.
Was Jackson Dart not on there at all?
That's a good question. They got the guy from Indiana as fifth. No.
Holy crap! No
Wow.
way.
I wonder what's gonna.
He's second in passing yards.
Yeah.
He's like
That's
they're
wild.
like very close to each other too. I think they're within they're within 80 yards of each other. Less than 80
See, that's
yards.
wild to me. You can't even right because 34.94 and 34.09.
It's the touchdowns though.
Is it? I mean, but still, I mean, the touchdowns are impressive. I mean, Cam's got 10 more touchdowns.
Oregon's quarterback's not even up there, bro. Like
I know, dude. He's eighth.
what are
He's
we
only got
discussing
2,800
right
yards,
now?
22 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Like, what are we
What
talking about right
what list is this? Like
now? It was ESPN.
Shador Sanders has more yards than he does.
Yeah, and he's
Like,
not on the list at all. No,
like
ain't nobody looking at him.
what are we talking about?
Hey, dude, it's got to. Yeah, I think that list gets redone. Hopefully after this weekend, and that goes. So that goes back to what we were saying just a couple minutes ago, right? About Boise State doesn't get any respect. Ashton Johnson out here is an absolute menace right now. Got 1,734 yards, 23 touchdowns. As a running back, dude. I mean, if he's not considered as dominant as Sam Ward right now, I don't know what we're talking about. College football. It makes no sense to me. I mean, maybe I wonder if it's because of maybe they're factoring in
Dude, like
schedule.
the dude is averaging 200 yards a game.
Yeah.
Like,
I think so. They got to be factoring in schedule. It's got to be what it is. Because they played Nevada, San Diego State, UNLV, Hawaii, Utah State.
yeah, but
I mean, the guy's only got one. He's only got one turnover on the year. I mean, dude has had an unbelievable season so far. And he had a 192-yard game against Oregon too. So it's not like he can't do it against top guys, against top team. Because at the beginning of September, they only lost 37-34 to Oregon. And he still had 25 rushes for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. What?
Yeah, I mean,
what are we talking about?
That's what I'm saying, bro. He's crazy.
Yeah.
But like they're not showing this dude respect. That's like I'm telling you, this is where the committees are like not being real. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's because he's not like a big name. That's what it is.
Yeah. People don't realize what he's doing right now. They don't realize the history he's trying to set.
Well, he's in a lower conference. That's why, but that still doesn't matter.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, that's impressive. Probably, I would love to see the Patriots get their hands on him as a running back.
So let's go to the MVP talk. MVP watch.
MVP watch. So
this past
weekend, I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now.
Jared Goff has ruined his chances.
Yeah, even though they're still impressive, they had a heck of a comeback.
He threw
But
5
he with
interceptions.
throwing 5 interceptions. I mean, his team was down. The only reason why the team was even down is because he threw 5 interceptions. Right?
Yeah.
They shouldn't have won that game. I went to bed thinking that game was over last night, only to wake up this morning and find out they won. I was shocked, but still, after he threw 5 interceptions, I was like, well, there goes his chances. There's no way you can look at his season and be like, oh, I think he can still
Yeah.
win
But
this
you know
game.
why? I know why they were losing that game.
Yeah.
The reason they were losing that game is because they were trying to have a shootout with Houston, and that's not going to work.
No.
They went away from the run game, which has been working for them
Mm-hmm.
consistently. They went away from that, obviously, because he threw 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
But they started winning the game again when they went back to the
Went back
ground
to the run
game.
game. Yep.
So it's like, know what you're good at and stick to it.
Exactly.
Because
And
now
they definitely.
you just tanked your quarterback, and you just
Yeah.
you tainted his season.
Yeah. If
He
they
was
thought they
having
were going to do good, then that hurt them really a lot.
a good
Um,
season.
yeah. You know who did up their stock though, for sure? Lamar Jackson. That game Thursday night. I mean, he really. I mean, he. Granted, he got away with one. There was one time he threw an interception, and luckily the ball went through the DB's arms and actually touched the ground. But with a 4 touchdown performance that night, and Derrick Henry didn't necessarily have a good game that night, he really he pulled out all the stops, and the reason why they won was because of him on Thursday. That was the game. Let's see here. Scores.
Ravens and the
The
Bengals.
Bengals, yeah. It was him versus what was an incredible
Performance by Joe Burrow, bro.
with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, man. I mean, I'm rooting
That
against both of those guys for my fantasy. Well, not against me, but in my league, I watched both of those guys nearly put up 100 points for their respective
Joe
fantasy teams.
Joe Burrow is playing lights out
Yeah.
football, and
If his team wasn't losing,
unfortunately, his team is not playing lights
yeah.
out football. Like, man, this dude threw 428 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. But even more impressive, right? I mean, that's impressive. Don't get me wrong. It's not that is impressive. But Jamar Chase with 11 receptions for 264 yards.
Oh yeah, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Three of Joe Burrow's touchdowns, and over half of his yards come from Jamar Chase.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I mean, they must have had each other on their fantasy team, and that's the reason why they were just absolutely murdering.
But it's crazy because
Unbelievable.
they had exact stats like that
Yeah,
the previous game they played each other
yeah,
too,
they sure did.
and they still lost.
Hold on a second, I am getting inundated.
Oh my! Your Discord is blowing up.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Why am I getting messages? Oh, I turn off my Discord. Good grief.
You just exit out of it. Yeah, man. Like you said, Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback.
Yeah, he right now he's definitely, I would say he's definitely number one after this past weekend. How did Josh Allen do? I don't think Josh Allen necessarily had a fantastic game.
No, he didn't.
You know, he had 280 yards. He threw for no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That hurts him, unfortunately. I mean, his team won 30-20 over the Colts, who were kind of they were really on a roll at the time. Well, almost on a roll. But Jonathan Taylor's kind of doing his thing right now. But even though they won 30-20, I mean, throwing 280 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Yeah, we thought Amari Cooper was going to help that team get better for Josh Allen, and then he misses his second week straight being back with a wrist injury. I mean, Amari Cooper's just not there right now. I don't know if we need to come to the realization that he's just not a number one receiver anymore, or something. He's checked out.
Amari? Yeah.
Yeah, he's checked out of playing football, man.
Let me ask you though.
I don't know what it is.
Let me ask you: can you consider? I mean, do you think that the MVP committee would consider the fact that yes, Lamar Jackson is having a phenomenal season, but he also has Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
That's also having a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
And Zay Flowers, who is 5th overall in receiving yards.
I think so. I think it'll be considered. However, because of this game from Thursday, that's going to change things, right? Because the Thursday night game showed clearly that it was it was Lamar Jackson that
Do
got
they
that
have
team into the
MVP
run.
race out right now?
They do have it out right now. But yeah, even speaking, like it's let's see, Zay Flowers on Thursday only had 4 catches for 34 yards. The number one receiver was a I think he was a rookie or second year receiver, Tylen Wallace, had
Yeah.
3 huge catches in that game, ended up with 150 yards. But before he had those huge catches towards the end of the game, when Baltimore needed to win their last 2 touchdown drives, it was a mediocre night for the rest of the receivers. Zay Flowers was just not there, and I think because of that, that's what's going to help. That if anything, Zay Flowers having a bad game Thursday probably boosted Lamar Jackson's stock in terms of the MVP race.
Check this out. This is from week 6. Why is this from week 6?
NFL.com just came out with their list 3 days ago. Let's see. NFL awards at midseason, picks for MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year, and more. So let's see. Right now, just going off of NFL.com. Let me share my screen with you guys. You guys see that? As of right now, in midseason NFL, this is before the Sunday games, right after Thursday, before Sunday, is when this came out. Came out on the 8th. So of course, Jared Goff's name is no longer on the games to watch. Of course, it's definitely going to be probably Pat Mahomes. I don't even know if Pat Mahomes. I don't know who touches. I don't know who touches Lamar Jackson right now. Offensive player of the year right now, Derrick Henry as well. He's already top 1,000-yard mark in just 10 games, posting 500-yard efforts. Saquon Barkley,
So that's one to
doing almost
watch.
the same thing. He had a. It's so crazy. Saquon and Derrick didn't necessarily have bad games this week. It's just that they weren't really needed for their teams to win. Does that make sense? Because Thursday, Lamar just kind of they put it all in Lamar's arm. And then the Eagles game, they just didn't use Saquon that much for some reason. I mean, I think they rushed him for 16 or 18 carries or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He finished for like 68 yards, I think, or something like that. They just
Good.
didn't need him that much this weekend. Defensive
I
player of the
I
year.
can see that one. I can see that. He has 6 interceptions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, he's killing it right now for Green Bay. Um, even though they're giving up a ton of points, just whenever they throw it to his side of the field, he's shutting them down. Uh, let's see here. Offensive rookie of the year, of course, Jaden Daniels. We said that was going to happen. That the name to watch is Brock Bowers, which he's not going to beat Jaden Daniels. That's not going to happen. Especially I mean, we have 7 more weeks, right, of NFL football. You would have to have a historic fall off or possibly even a season-ending injury to Jaden Daniels next weekend for anybody else to touch him. I think if he does good next 2 or 3 weeks, and then they decide not to play him for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think he's pretty much still a lock for rookie of the year on offense. And then defensive rookie of the year, of course, Jared Verse. I don't know if he wins because of the way. Have you been keeping up with the game tonight at all?
I've looked at the score a few times. I haven't actually watched.
Many bits of it.
I mean,
He's
it's 10-6 right now, Dolphins.
yeah, it's 10-6, but I'll say that they're kind of the Dolphins aren't necessarily, or the Rams aren't necessarily having a good time getting to Tua as you would expect it to happen. I mean, they're trying to do their thing, but it's the
Both quarterbacks right now have thrown 1 interception apiece.
yeah, it's not looking too hot. Comeback player of the year, Kirk Cousins.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Or
We'll see
Joe
who's for next
Burrow.
season. That's Joe Burrow is the name to watch. I actually think the only reason they probably have Kirk Cousins over Joe Burrow right now is because of the record. That's the only thing I think of. So if the Falcons win their division, Joe Burrow's, I don't think the Bengals will win. The Bengals aren't winning the division.
I mean,
But,
he came off a torn Achilles, so I can
yeah.
see that.
Coach of the year, Dan Quinn,
I
has a lot.
100% agree.
Yeah, you're not beating that one. They got name to watch as Mike Tomlin down here, which I don't know how you do that. But it's definitely going to be Dan Quinn, hands down.
You
I
know,
don't even.
something crazy is Dan Quinn and Mike Tomlin are best friends.
Do what now?
Dan Quinn and Mike Tomlin are best friends.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, talk about something I did not know. Did not expect that to be. So, I mean, Mike will be happy for him, and vice versa, whoever gets it. Interesting they don't have a GM of the year, even though that's an award that's also given out. But it's
Nobody
going to be,
really looks at that one.
yeah. But yeah, these are the current standings right now. So Coach of the Year right now, as of Friday, Dan Quinn, and then Commanders won their game this weekend too, right? So,
No, we lost
ooh, you guys did.
by
It's a
1 point.
heartbreaker. Oh, that's rough.
But
I
so
hope next year.
now we're 7-3.
Yeah,
Yeah, both my
it's just
teams lost.
it's so crazy to think that like you're both teams lost. Yeah, but I mean, the Commanders still being at 7-3 is such a huge improvement over last year.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's almost worth it.
we're still gonna make the playoffs. Like as of right now,
Yeah,
we're still gonna make the playoffs.
yeah,
But it was a close game, man. It was really close, and it was against one of the top defenses in the nation, like in the league. Like
yeah.
with Pittsburgh, we played Pittsburgh. We played Mike Tomlin. Like
Mm-hmm.
and like they have one of the best defenses in the
Yeah,
league. I mean,
yeah,
you have Highsmith on one side, and you have T.J. Watt on the other. Like, man, that's a hard defense to get around.
totally
And
agree.
we still played a heck of a game, and I'm proud of them. More proud of them than I was of Georgia, you know.
Yeah,
But
my Patriots aren't necessarily doing too hot. We won our game against Georgia. I'm not Georgia against Chicago. Drake May is looking like the real deal. He definitely should have been starting from day one. It's clear that he was always the better NFL quarterback than Jacoby Brissett. I don't know why we ever started him over Drake May, but
Jacoby's bounced to so many teams, and
I
he's
know.
just
I think
proven everywhere he goes he's not a
yeah,
starter.
he's a solid guy. He's a solid guy to have. I think it's good to have him on the team with a rookie as a veteran ear.
Yeah,
But I think the only reason why he started is because because we were the team that drafted him when he came out of college. And I think he just has that rapport with the brass. They're just like, got to give him a shot. And I think that's probably the reason why he even got that nod. Because it's clear why
how did Jameis Winston do this week? The Browns.
he's trash. He had that his first game in. He did. I think they had a bye week.
They had a bye week
Yeah, they had a bye week.
because the
Last week it was
first
horrible. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. Week 8 when he first came in for Deshaun, he had a heck of a game. Right,
Mhm.
334 yards, 3 touchdowns. But then week 9 came right back down to earth. I mean, right back down to earth.
Yeah,
Let's check out that.
he showed. I just looked it up. He showed who Jacoby Brissett was.
Yeah,
200 or not Jacoby, but James Winston. I'm sorry, 235 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
3 interceptions. Yep.
Crazy. But other than Lamar Jackson, man, who could you even put in the MVP race at the moment?
After that game Thursday, I mean, before Thursday, I really, really thought Josh Allen had a shot. I really thought Jared Goff had a shot. I really thought Derrick Henry had a shot. Uh, a lot of good names. Saquon Barkley's having a heck of a season as well.
There's
Uh,
still there's still a lot of football left to play.
there is, but man, if Lamar continues the way he is right now, I mean, I don't know how you touch him. Like, let's look up what are the stats right now? What are the NFL stats?
Joe Burrow leads the league in passing yards right now.
With 2,672. Guess who's right behind him by 3 yards?
Lamar Jackson.
It's Lamar Jackson.
They're both tied for 24 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson has 2 interceptions to Joe Burrow's 4.
So Joe Burrow, talk about the tale of two tapes, right? If Joe Burrow's team was not 4-6 right now, Joe Burrow would absolutely be the favorite candidate right now. Absolutely.
Look at Kirk Cousins holding 3 spot though.
I know, man. He's holding solid, man. That's probably why he's gonna get comeback player of the year.
Saquon Barkley has 991 yards. Derrick Henry already broke 1,100 yards, man.
And you know what's so crazy? At the beginning of the season, after watching that first game against Kansas City, I remember seeing that game and I was just like, I don't know how they're going to use Derrick Henry because Lamar Jackson runs so well. And
Yeah.
then after that first game, they were just like, that's six, and they've been on a tear, absolute tear ever since. Like it's so much so I don't know how this happened in my fantasy league. I managed to get Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
And it's unbelievable. Everybody's, I'm the big bad guy right now.
Kim, I want to go into a little discussion with
All right,
you.
let's jump into it.
It's a argument I have with a lot of my coworkers right now. Who do you think is a better wide receiver, Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase?
Ooh, man, would it be cheating to say they're equal?
Yeah.
The receiver right now. Who's a better receiver right now?
Well, throughout their career.
Oh, throughout their career? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson. But
Why?
not by much. It's not like a blowout.
Why is that?
And I think, well, because with both of them having quarterbacks who have no problem slinging it, Justin Jefferson's production simply just has been on another level. Right?
I don't agree.
You don't think so?
Can
Because
I?
if you look at his catch to
Let
his
me.
targets to his catches,
Yeah.
right? I think that's what makes him so much. I don't want to say so much, but I think that's what makes him the slightly better candidate. What hurts Jamar Chase is the consistent slow starts to the season the Bengals have had. I think that hurts Jamar Chase more because with Justin Jefferson, they're his team. Even like I said, I think they're in a perfect world. I personally think they're even.
Do me a favor though.
But yeah,
pull up their career stats side by side and put it on the screen. And then I'm gonna show you something, and your view might change. Just remember Justin Jefferson. Remember Justin Jefferson came in the league 1 year before.
Yes, fully agree. All right, let's share this bad boy. All right, look at the screen. You guys see this?
Yeah.
All
so
right.
so games played, right? 69 to 55. But go down to receiving touchdowns.
Oh yeah, 39 to 35. Yeah. Which is fine. Once again, like I said, my argument wasn't the touchdowns because I think Joe Burrow does a better job targeting him for touchdowns. This is interesting that they both got 3 Pro Bowls.
Yes, they do.
Justin's got 3 All Pros though.
Yep.
If you look at them target wise, like even right here, look at regular season, right? There's a thing for Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Justin Jefferson just gets the ball thrown to him more, right? With the thing that Justin Jefferson gets the W for is that when he's on the Vikings with Kirk Cousins just like practically didn't throw it to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So the ball was coming his way. He's had several games where he had like double-digit
Go back up. Go back up to the top. Let me see something right here. 6730 minus 4698. So that's 2,000 yards.
That's one season right there.
That is one season.
If Jamar Chase ever gets a 2,000-yard receiving season, but still, that's a heck of a stat line. Let's see here.
I'm just saying, he just the thing about it is
it's almost like even though. You see that
Jamar Chase gets more yards after contact.
Yeah.
Or after catch.
Yeah. Oh no, 6.2 to Here's their average 6.2 to 4.6.
He just go back up to the top.
The very top.
Yeah. See right here, it's just like it's kind of crazy to me because I mean the receptions he has like over 100 more receptions than him.
But I will say it is a known issue for Kirk Cousins that he has a hard time getting touchdowns in the end zone. And Kirk Cousins routinely misses those throws. If you're doing everything before the touchdown, Kirk Cousins has no problem getting those throws, and I think that's the reason why Justin Jefferson has so many more yards.
Oh yeah.
But it is a known problem for Kirk Cousins. Everywhere he's been as a QB, he cannot make those tighter throws in the end zone.
How updated is this? I wonder. It's updated. It is updated.
It is.
He has 46. So Jamar Chase has had every year he's been in the league, he's got over 1,000. Justin Jefferson is the same way. Yes, he is over 1,000 in every one.
You know what's so crazy? That was such a controversial move whenever the Vikings moved on from Stephon Diggs to Justin Jefferson, and then Stephon Diggs just has not been that guy ever since. The worst move of his career was leaving Minnesota to go to the Buffalo. He's gonna look back in his life and be like, man, that was a dumb thing.
I mean,
Dumb move.
honestly, man, they are very comparable to each other,
Yeah,
and
that's why I
it's
said they're
just
even. That's why
I
I said they're
know.
even.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, and it
But
is
if I had
really
to,
hard because like
yeah,
played with Joe Burrow in
yeah,
college, right?
yes,
And Jamar Chase just got the opportunity to play with him. Could you imagine? Could you just imagine Justin Jefferson being a Bengal?
it would be unfair for the league.
Like
It really
what
would
that
be.
would do?
It would be Aaron Rodgers with gosh, what were the two guys he had, man? When he had Adam Thielen and Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson was in Minnesota. Who were the two guys that Aaron Rodgers had? I can't remember. I'm blanking on this right now.
When Devontae Adams?
Let's see. When he had, what was the white guy? Man? Jordy Nelson. Remember when he had Jordy Nelson and who was the other guy? Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb. Do you
Yeah.
remember when he had that duo going? Like that was unbelievable. That duo by like it's. I think it would be on the same level if Joe Burrow had Justin Jefferson and it'd be greater than that, Justin Jefferson and
Yeah.
Jamar Chase. But yeah, if I had to put, I mean, like I said, bullets in my head, I'm probably picking Justin Jefferson. But if my life is not on the line, I 100% think of both of those guys as the same receiver, just on different teams.
They
I
play
think they're both
different.
equally as good.
They
Yeah,
do.
they
They
do
play
play
different
different.
style. But I
Yeah,
think
but they're
that
both so valuable. Like
yeah,
Justin Jefferson's route running is amazing, but Jamar Chase's
separation
ad
is
libs,
insane.
his dude, he finds ways to get into holes like that nobody. And I think the good thing about him is that him and Joe Burrow are on such good, like they're thinking the same thing,
Yeah, but
right? So
he
when
has. I
Jamar
think
Chase
he
sees
has
that
better.
hole,
I think Justin Jefferson is better at the 50-50 balls. I think he's better at
mm-hmm.
catching the 50-50 balls, and I think Justin Jefferson. I think Jamar Chase has better separation than Justin
Yeah,
Jefferson.
that's true because Jamar Chase is one of those guys who's like literally always open. Period. There's no question about it. He's always open. You know, it's I will say it's sad to see kind of what's happening in Miami right now because you would think that uh, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle would be doing a better job right now than they're currently doing, but they're just not having it. They're just not able to do it right now. They're just not getting it.
Who would you compare? Who would you compare Justin Jefferson to? Like old receiver
Historically,
wise, yeah. Play style, yeah.
I hate to say this name. A lot of people probably might hate this. All right, but in his prime, Terrell Owens.
Man, Terrell
T-
Owens was
T.O.
awesome.
was a beast, man.
What do
People
you
forget
mean?
how good T.O. was
Why would people hate that? That dude's
because
number.
people hate
That dude's
they
number
hate
like
his
three or.
personality.
That dude's number 3 or 4 all-time receiving yards.
I know people forget because his personality is so overshadowing. People forget how good he was as a wide receiver, and I hate that he gets that kind of flack. But man, T.O. was so so good. I mean, he learned from Jerry Rice.
Terrell Owens was number 3.
Yeah, dude, God, that's unbelievable how good he was.
Hey, can we talk about this real quick though?
Yeah.
Who? Let's talk about some. This could be the last topic because I know it's getting late. But
Mm-hmm.
who? Let's name some underrated wide receivers that don't get much love.
Oh man, gosh.
I have 2 right off the rip. Number 1, by far, most underrated wide receiver that doesn't get recognition is Mike Evans.
Oh
For
man,
one,
I,
dude.
I can't go side that one.
Why
I
not?
can't. The guy shows up only when like it's convenient to him.
That's not true.
If I had to compare after watching him for the last like 5, 6 seasons, I would now he rides off the bat. He manages to get 1,000 yards every season. Don't knock him for that. But in terms of the level of talent production, he is the wide receiver equivalent of Julius Peppers. Tell me I'm wrong. Talk about a guy who could absolutely be the man every single game, And for some reason, just I feel like if you go back and watch the tape, Mike Evans definitely takes some plays off. He's got some laziness to him, and I don't like it.
Nah,
It reminds me a
bro.
lot of yeah.
I mean, man, he's got
He's good.
12,000 yards, bro.
Yeah, he's good. I'm not saying he's bad,
Hmm.
but remember, Julius Peppers is also a historical great too. You know, these are two guys who are just.
I mean, you're talking about a
I feel like he should be
lineman.
better.
You're talking
Yeah,
about
but you're talking
a.
about one of the most dominant linemen of all. I mean, Julius Peppers was could have been the GOAT at defensive end.
I'm just saying, man. I think he's underrated. He doesn't get the love he just show.
I think
He doesn't
I
get
think
the
he gets
love he's
exactly the
respected.
amount of love. I think he gets exactly the amount of love.
You're just mad because Tom Brady went to be with him, bro. That's why you're mad at him.
I'm salty about it. Who's your
Yeah,
number two? Who's your number two receiver?
Terry McLaurin, bro.
Terry McLaurin. No, I agree with that one. I wholeheartedly agree because he's a guy who
This man has had 10 quarterbacks.
golly, man.
He doesn't since he's been in the league, bro. He's had 10 quarterbacks. For one, he doesn't complain.
Oh yeah, never.
He's a team player, and he never shows any kind of like, like I said, he doesn't complain, so he doesn't show any. He doesn't show any like. What am I trying to say? Like he's never disgruntled towards the team.
Yeah.
And he never makes like excuses.
Yeah.
And he still, even though he's had 10 quarterbacks, he still ends up getting 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah, he's got production, 100%. The guy's got production. In the face of everything too, man. I mean, talk about in a time because he was there when they were going through what Robert Griffin and Kirk Cousins, right?
I don't know.
Was he there for
He
that?
didn't.
I think he came right after that.
He wasn't there for RG3.
But still, to be in Washington and to be
10 quarterbacks, bro. 10 quarterbacks.
And the guys put in work, man. Year
Insane.
in and year out. What about Greg Jennings?
Greg
that's a solid pick.
Jennings.
I mean, granted, he had the benefit of playing with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre.
Does he still play?
No, he doesn't play anymore. He's an analyst for I think ESPN.
Man, I'm talking about current
players. Current guys.
Yeah.
Current receivers.
Current receivers.
Oh, well, if you're talking about then definitely I definitely agree with Mike Evans then. We're talking about current receivers.
Yes, current.
Okay. I was mistaken. I apologize. So in terms
I'm not talking all time.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch all time.
In terms of current receivers, I'd say. I mean, would you throw Tyler Lockett into that category?
I could, yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett he's a producer, man. I mean, I could put him there.
He's a solid guy. I mean, he's never had the chance to be like the number. I guess he's never been a number one guy too, though.
I mean, you're playing with DK, bro.
Yeah, you're playing with DK. It's hard to.
But I mean, he's a solid guy to go to.
Yeah.
Like I could definitely put him.
Yeah.
On that list.
Let's see who else would be a underrated guy. The guy that just shattered his ankle in Tampa Bay. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude is special.
Yeah, I don't know what his recovery is going to be like, but hearing about that, I was like, dude, that might be it for him for football, especially a wide receiver. Like it's hard enough to come back from an Achilles injury.
Yeah.
But a shattered ankle, like that's let me double check to make sure that is his injury.
I mean, I can even put Keenan Allen on this list.
Oh yeah, the guy when he's not hurt, it's unreal. Absolute monster on the field. No one wants to guard him because you're not stopping him. You try to triple cover him, and you couldn't stop Allen when he was number one.
No, Keenan Allen was a special dude, man.
Yeah,
especially healthy Keenan Allen.
Oh, dude, healthy Keenan Allen and Mike Williams on the Chargers. It was unreal. True.
Oh yeah.
I wanted that to work out so stinking bad. I wanted those two guys to be healthy for just 16 games, just to see what a full season of those two with each other would look like. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But man, I feel for them. I feel for them. So, but anyways, let's wrap up on that note. We went a little long today. You got any closing thoughts?
No, I just want to once again just say thank you to all the servicemen and women that serve this country, past, present, and future. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. It's a big spot in my heart because I did serve. Veterans are a huge thing for me, and just wanted to say thank you one more time.
Same here. I'm just like Chase. I did not serve. Well, not just like Chase, but I did not serve. But just like Chase, I do have a huge love for our servicemen and women. I'm a huge fan of this country. Love it to death. I wish I had served. Unfortunately, that time is gone for me. But you know, it, it is such an honor to be able to know people, men and women, who have made that decision to volunteer and put that time in. And I'm forever indebted and forever grateful for those people. Going all the way back to our founding fathers, man. I mean, if it wasn't for these people putting their life on the line for the country that we have now, we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't have the freedoms that we have. I'm forever grateful for that. Not just the job they do here, but also the job they do even sometimes around the world, even going to places where sometimes they might not want to be. Um, but they serve because they have a heart or something that is greater than what some of us might never know. So thank you once again to our veterans, Chase, as well to you as you served. Thank you for your time as well. And with that, we're gonna shut it down for tonight.
Oh
Take
yeah,
care, guys. Two
one
pieces in a pod.
but we got also if you guys ever want to hear any kind of content or want us to go over anything, just put it on comments. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. Shoot us a DM or comment down below. Any kind of content, we cover anything. We just huge into family, faith, and football, but we can go outside of that as well. Whatever you guys want to know or just discuss, we'll do it. We're here. Just big thing is we want to connect with people and we want to show love and just show that this place is still filled with good people.
Yeah.
So with that being said,
that's right.
We're out tonight. So we'll see you next episode. So see y'all later.